Well, hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to my stream, and welcome to another chapter. Working on this guy right there. That's our 1/48 scale Great Wall Hobbies F-15C. We're going to continue on this today. We're going to get that intro going and we'll get started, okay? We're back. So we're going to continue on. Last time we got our intake tunnels put into the lower fuselage, and we got our lower halves of the wings put on. Okay, so basically we're just going to continue on. We also got our intake, our what do you call these, primary intakes things. We got those assembled last time. I did sand down the little ejector pin marks. There's still a remnant of them in there. You can kind of see them. Oh, I can. I don't know if the camera's picking it up really. You can kind of barely see them still through the primer. But I think once I get some actual paint on this, you're not going to see them. So anyway, let's look back. So I'll change the camera here, and so you guys can follow along with me. So we've got our intakes all done, wings put on, so that's all done on this page. Flip it over. Now we did step 7, yes, last time, right? Did this. So let's go back to step 6 and do this part now. So we've got our upper fuselage half. I've cleaned off all my little nubs that are on the tips and everything along here. And so we're going to take a look at what's next here. So we're going to need some pieces off of the I tree or the H, depending on what you're going to do. We have two options here. Depending on whether you're having your intake air inlet assembly, called air inlet assemblies, whether you're having them straight or they're going to be straight or they're in the downward position. It's going to depend on which ones of these you use. Okay. So basically, the way this functions, if you guys don't know, when this is like this, and the air requirements of the engine that doesn't require as much air, these will tilt down like this, okay? And what does is these little panels here, they will tilt down also, so that air can go in and then out through here, okay? So, depending on how you're displaying this is going to depend on which one you do. I'm having mine straight, so I'm going to use H12. It tells you here which ones to use. When intake vents is downward state, please use I3 and I4. When they're horizontal, which is mine, please use H1 and H2. So I need my H tree for these, and then I'm going to put some fins on, so we need our A tree. So, of course, A tree is the great big one here. I gotta find my H. So we're gonna look through here, find my H tree. And here it is right here. Okay, H tree, the last two parts on it. Of course, I've got these primered on the inside that I'm never gonna see, but that's okay. We're going to be primering the whole plane once it's fully assembled. Well, maybe not quite fully assembled, but pretty close. The only reason why I'm cleaning up the nubs on these is just to make sure it's going to fit. Tolerances in there are going to be a little tight, I think. So I've got to make sure your nubs are clean. It's good to have clean nubs. Okay. Okay. So we grab this, and they're going to go in here and here, but I think they are specific which way they go. Actually, they look like identical molds. But they do show these little things different. Let's see if I can match them up. No. No, I can't match them to the drawing. So we're just going to see how they fit. That seems to fit in there perfectly. So let's get some glue. Let's see this one before I commit to gluing it. Yep, they're both in there. Okay. Okay, so those are glued in. Once the glue dries, they will not be going anywhere. Okay, so we're going to have our fins, or elevators. Another thing I see it's telling me to do, there's a little nub here on the end. It's telling me to cut that off. So I will get in here and go snip. Get that cut off. I'm going to use my nice little razor file and just make sure that's flush. I love my razor file. There we go. Okay. So let's find our elevators. Are they elevators? I don't know what these are. Trim. I don't know. A11, A6, A12, A7. All of these guys. Okay. There's 6 and 7. And then we got 11 and 12 on this side. I'm going to keep them separate. This is 11. And this is 12. Okay. And obviously we got some funny little nubs. Now if you don't clean up your nubs on these, you're going to run into a lot of interference and gaps and stuff like that, and you don't want that. So you got to make sure your nubs are nice and smooth. At the same time, be careful of the little pin that they've got sticking out there on the front, because that's to help guide this in. Okay, so clean up that nub. Start with that and then get my razor file and get that nice and smooth. There we go, nice and smooth. So this was 6 and 7. So let me just move this here. So 6 is this big guy, and then 7 is going to go over on this side. This one doesn't have any little pin on the end of it, so we don't have to worry about that. But it does on this side. So it's just making sure that's nice and smooth. Okay, so we want A7 and we want A12. Let's grab 12 here. These two go together here. Is that correct? Well, I'm going to find out, aren't I? This is definitely 12. I even got a little flashing around this one. Let's get rid of that. Okay. I think parts 6 and 12 look pretty identical. It's going to be hard to determine which is which for those. But parts 7 and 11, hey 7-11, they look like they're going to be left and right specific. I think the only thing that's going to really screw you up, now I do have a little bit of a seam line going along the front edge of this. That might interfere, so I'm going to clean that up. Okay, can you hear that really drag along that edge? I'm going to clean up that seam line. There we go, nice and smooth. Well, it's not quite nice and smooth, is it? You might ask me, why am I worrying about this front edge? Because this might force it into a certain position that it's not supposed to be in, and that's why I want to get rid of that edge. And I actually got a bit of a seam I'm going to have to scrape. Sometimes the seam lines along these can interfere with your fitment. I'm not sure how critical it is on this particular kit, but I've had it where I've really had to clean up the edges on these before they fit properly. So anyway, let's take a look here. They do show the pin going towards the inside here, because we do seem to only have a pin on one edge, and that's going to go like this. We don't have a pin going to the middle. So it does kind of want to sit in that position. Unfortunately, I would like it if there was a pin going there, because then we could just leave these and not glue them in. And then you could have the option of doing this. I have noticed and seen a lot of times, basically this is pointing like this. This is the top, by the way. So I want to have them pointed down a little bit, because this plane is going to be parked, and they do usually have them in that kind of position. So I'm going to have them pointed down, maybe about that much, like this. So about, of course you can't see what I'm doing. I'm not going to have them straight. I don't want it straight like this. I want to have it maybe like that kind of an angle, something like that. Okay, so let's put a little glue along this edge here. I'm going to use not my thin, I'm going to use my thicker glue. And put a little glue along our edge here. And get it the right way, yep. Get it in a spot. So of course now I got glue on it, it doesn't want to sit. Okay, I want to hold it at about that angle there. Let's give that a minute. What I should do is put it down in such a way that something is holding it up. So let's try this. There we go. There, that's going to hold it while I work on the other pieces. Let's get this other side cleaned up. So we're going to do this one next while that holds. going to make sure my edges are smooth. Again, I want to make sure this edge is good and smooth. And not interfering. There we go. So this is the side with the pin on it, right there. It's just a very shallow little pin. Probably do you good if you're so inclined to drill out that pin and put like a little metal rod in there or something, just to give it a little more positive stop right there. Now the challenge is to get this one in the same position exactly as that. From my memory, the Tamiya kit, these only go in one way. I think actually Tamiya gives you the option of two different ones, two different flaps, depending on how you want to display it. This should be able to hold on its own now, because it's sat long enough. So it's holding. You can see the angle I put it at. Okay, a little bit sticking down. So it's a lowered flap. It's not a crazy amount, but it's close. Okay, pin's gonna go this direction, so we'll do that. Get some glue. Put along our edge. Okay. Put them in there. And hold them up. I think that's pretty close. Let's just grab something I can use to measure here. It's pretty close to the same. I think visually we're not going to notice any difference, even if one is a little bit lower than the other. Let's just go like this and have a quick little peek. Pretty close. Pretty darn close. We're going to have to give that a minute. I'll work on these guys first. Let that dry, or let that cure for a minute or two. This one looks pretty clean. Okay. Pretty clean. So we'll get, this is A11. I need my nippers. If you don't wait long enough, this could have the tendency to want to just droop down before the glue is cured. Sorry, I just realized I was doing that off camera. Okay, so A11, that's this side. We're ready to go. I think that should be long enough to hold. My flaps seem to be pretty close. I'm just eyeballing it to see how close they are. and how I did them. They're pretty close to the same. Pretty close. Okay. We got this guy here. He's got to go in right here. Let me get him on this side. Let me see here. Little pin goes in the end. It's got a pin on this end, and there's a little hole right there. Okay, so let's get that lined up first. There we go. I'm gonna have to go in this way. There we go, like that. Now, usually these things sit flat. If you are deciding that you want to have these at an angle of some sort, remember these ones work opposite to each other. So if one side is up, the other side's down. I have learned that. I've seen that on some forums. Guys criticizing some other guys on how they display their flaps like that. These ones are unique in how they sit. One is up and one is down. Get that lined up again and in there. So I'm going to have mine flush like that. Okay, so that's that side done. And now we're going to go over to this side. I'll just do a quick little test fit just to make sure. Yep, we're going to be good, so I can put glue in there. I just noticed this flap is a little bit lower, so I want to just kind of raise it up a little bit. Okay. There we go. Okay. And there's our flaps. Just doing a double check. I think we're good. Okay guys, that's it for the flaps. So we've got these in, we've got our flaps. One last piece is our machine gun. It needs to go in there. Okay, that's off of our F tree, F6. So let's put this down, let those sit, find my F tree. C, J, D, there's F. F is this little guy, and number 6 is right there. Our little machine gun. That guy there. So it looks like it's just going to go into that little slot right there. Little slot right here. A little tab on him there. There we go. There you go. He's in his little home now. You see him there? You see him in there? No, you can't because the camera won't focus on him. There, right there. Little machine gun. Yay. Just gonna double check my fins, make sure they're all holding steady. Looks pretty good. Okay. So that's it for this part. Get rid of my nub. That's done. And so we already have this done, which means this page is finished. What's the next step? I'm going to guess the next step is to put our fuselage halves together. And I'm correct. We're going to put our two together. We've got nothing else we're supposed to insert, or no drills to hole. Drills to hole. How about holes to drill? There's nothing to put in there. So we'll put our two together. So clearly our lower wings don't extend to the tips. We've got panel lines which we're going to have to deal with later with our installation of them. And holes and pegs that we won't have access to put glue in. So I'm going to do a little test fit first to make sure it all goes together nicely. And we'll see here. Line up our sides there. It looks like we've got a pretty good fit. Oh, there we go. Yeah, no crazy gaps, no restrictions. Yeah, it'll go together nice. She's gonna go together nicely, guys. Okay, let's pull this back off. So I'll put some glue on these pegs. I like to actually fill the holes with the glue if I can get a nice little slather of glue across them. So that way I know for sure that there's enough glue to hold it. And then don't really have anything in here, but okay. Of course I'm going to go around the whole perimeter of the plane with extra thin anyway, but there we go. I like that nice firm snap of it going together. Use a bunch of clips and stuff like that to hold it down nice. Utilize as many as I can to make sure she stays held together. That's too big for that one. I can do it on here and here. Okay, this is where rubber bands help too. Of course, you need rubber bands that are big or tight enough, so that's not going to help me. How am I going to do this? I don't want to use my clamps because the clamps are a little heavy-handed, but I just might have to. Now for the front, this is the challenge because I don't want to use crazy clamps, especially on this angled piece. It's going to have a tendency to want to come apart. think we're in a good position here, except at the very back. I'm gonna have to do this separate. I might be able to double up on a rubber band. These rubber bands are so small that it's really hard to double up. I might have another rubber band sitting over here in my stash of stuff. There we go. 2 of them actually. So, and this is old and it just broke on me. Useless rubber band. How about you? Are you going to be useless? No, you're okay. Okay. Gonna hold on there. No. Garbage. Are you stretchy enough to double up? That might work. Getting them on there is going to be a challenge. That worked. Okay, let's get a little thin glue on there. Let's move this out of the way. Okay, this side has the same problem, sticking open, so I'll grab another rubber band. Meanwhile, let's put some glue in on this. Along our seams. And while I'm at it, glue on the fins. Because the fins are technically only glued to the top half. By doing this, I'll get them glued to the bottom half as well. Okay. Our seam right in here needs some glue. And on this side. Let's go from the top here. Along this edge. And along our wing. Sorry guys, I know I keep doing this off camera. I keep moving this thing around all over the place. But I need to see, and I need to be able to do it. So, yeah, just bear with me, please. Oops. That's not necessary to put glue there. And of course, one spot that I didn't glue at all was the very center of our engines. So we need glue in here too. That needs some glue. And in there. Let's grab another rubber band. Oh, I had another rubber band. Whatever. That should hold it tight. Some glue in there. think a lot of these places are doing pretty good and being held firmly. I'm going to try letting go of this and see how it sits. Looks pretty good. Gotta get glue on the inside of it here. And this guy, are you holding? Pretty close. A little glue in here. I want to put the clamp back on this guy just in case. Yeah. Just to make sure. Okay. So I've got to leave this for a few minutes. So we're going to put this off to the side here. Hopefully all my clamps stay on. Okay. And we're going to take a look at what's next. So what's next is putting in the nose cone, installing our intakes, and putting on this section here. Now in the kit, there's two of these. Okay, there's two of these guys. So I'm going to take a look. It's calling for T19, so let me find that. T19, is this the T tree? No, this is B. See, we've got this one on the B tree, but we're looking for the T tree. T19, where are you? Where are you, Mr. T? Oh, there it is. Mr. T is sitting on my desk. Right here. T. I looked at these when they were in the kit, and I really can't tell which one is which. Well, they look identical. They look the same. There's really visually not much difference. But they do want me to cut this big fin off and replace it with T1. So you want to cut it off, then drill a hole and replace it with T1. I guess because T1 is on a kind of an angle. T1 is triangular and this one's not. Let's just take a look. I think what I could do, if I take this off of here, okay, I think I could just trim the fin down to match. I could just turn it into a triangle. I think I could just turn it into a triangle. If I trim this off, line that up like that, and then just clean this up a little bit. Just sand that down. I think I'm going to get away with this. I've basically now got the exact same part. That looks pretty close to me. That looks pretty close to me. Yeah, I think that's good enough. And that means I don't have to worry about a part. See, this is pretty strong on there. This ain't going nowhere. Okay? And that's why I was kind of hesitant to cut it off if I'm just replacing it with something that's I could just kind of make myself. So yeah, I'd rather have it like this. Just make it a little, I mean, it's thick, so I can understand why they would want you to kind of replace it. It's a thick molding. So I'll just shape down the edges to make it look a little thinner, more realistic. There we go. So now we've got that. It's shaped like that now instead of the big rectangle. Now it's a triangle and it's a Pokemon. It can poke you, man. Okay. Enough silliness. I've got nub marks that need to be cleaned up on this. This piece is going to go on after. We're going to be doing this piece actually last, but I'm just taking the time to clean it up nice so it fits nicely. I think we've got enough time to get our fuselage together, and then call it a day. Okay, so this should be able to take off now. We can put in our nose. That's going to go in like that and sit nice and pretty. I'm going to take these off, so I don't want them getting in my way. The nose sits pretty nice. So slather some glue on that and shove it in. Okay, bunch of glue around this. And then I want a little glue around here too. Really? Yeah, really. Okay. Shove that in there. I want to put it down in such a way that there's no pressure here. I want the weight of this to hold it down. And I want some extra thin in my line in here. And in here. Okay. And let that do its thing. Okay. Now, we have our intakes. Now, it shows you here the difference where the side where you have it going down further. See this edge here? And then you've got the little flat edge. So this edge here that's going down a little bit farther, that's going to go towards the inside. Okay? And that should be able to just slide in there. Like this. Okay? Like that. I am noticing a little bit of a weird little gap causing right here. I'm going to try putting on our top piece first. Let's dry fit this one. Interesting. We can't go straight down because of the angle, right? Because it's doing this. But to slide it down, we're hitting. I think I'm going to have to pull the nose out to get this to fit in there. Because if I get it lined up here, it hits back here. Let's try this. Let's just balance you here for a sec. I'm going to trim this out here. I'm going to do this. Let's just try that. Okay, now let's see that, see if that helps. That gets us a little closer. We're a lot closer to, perfect. Okay, we're in. We're in. Now you notice I didn't go all the way because I didn't want a hole, I didn't want a gap in here, right? I didn't want to seeth into there. But now that's on. Now let's see how this looks. That's a tight little fit. It's tight, but it fits. That looks pretty good. Okay. So now that I know that, let's take this back off. So that I can put some glue on here in the pegs and get that glued in. Okay. Glue in here, here, and in here, here. And I could feel it really holding on the sides here too, so I'm going to glue those. Especially this side. Okay. Here's the one for all the marbles, guys. Just like that. Oh, she slid in so nice with the glue on there, acting like a lubricant. All right. Kind of wants to pop up just a little bit on this edge, so I'm just going to hold it down for the glue. Wait for the glue to kind of do its thing. Okay. I think these have been holding long enough. I can take these off. Now I don't have to worry about knocking anything around. Okay, so these slide in here like that. So I'm going to use my extra thin on this ones because it's kind of hard to get into exactly where it is. That it's making contact. Got a little tiny bit of a gap up here that I don't really like very much, but there's nothing I can do about it because we're tight up top here. I suppose if I were to shave this down beforehand, yeah, I could have fixed it, but it's too late now. We're in and we're solid. We're glued in. Okay. Okay, where's my other one? We're going to test fit this one. Get that in there. This side is definitely a tighter fit. There we go. But we fit. It's a little bit tight, but it's good. It looks good. All right, glue time. Alright guys, that is it. She's really looking like an F-15 now. That is it. That's it for this page. So we've got a pretty near complete fuselage. Just like that. We got a little bit of a gap here, inside the intake, there and there. But that's not anything that's going to be noticeable when we start painting and stuff like that. Because we've got the white of the inside here of our intake, the white of the intake in there. That stays white, but these don't. These on this side, it's fuselage color. So that's all good. Looks nice and flush and straight up top here. It looks good. No big weird gaps in the panel lines. I do like to use a little bit of the Vallejo putty, just so that this won't be such a deep line and it'll be more shallow like the rest of the panel lines. So I'll do that. And yeah, so that's that. So this is going to sit and cure and dry and everything like that, all that good stuff. I'll take these off now. And so we don't have to worry about that. She's all together. It's looking good. Yeah, the line going around here looks pretty good. It's no big edges, no steps. The fit is pretty nice. Same up top here. There's no big step like you might think. There's going to be a step, but not really. It's pretty flush and flat, so that's nice. That's good. Okay, what's on the next page? This is going to be next time, guys. We're going to be doing our engines, so we're going to work on that next time. Okay. Meanwhile, this is going to dry. I'm going to let that cure, and that is where I am going to leave it for today. I gotta move this. I got a notification in my way that I can't get out. Can't get out of the way here. Let's see. There we go. All right. Okay, guys. That's where I'm going to leave it for today. And so I invite you, please hit that like button down below. Check out the description box and check out my links to my Instagram and my Twitch. You can follow me on Twitch. You can talk to me on Twitch while I'm doing this live. It's all up to you. But I do please ask you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Okay, guys. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for coming out. We're going to work on the engines next time. And yeah, all that fun stuff. So until next time, we'll see you later.